Dustin Hunter Johnson, born June 22, 1984, is an American professional golfer. He has won two major championships, the 2016 U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club with a 4-under par score of 276 and the 2020 Masters Tournament with a record score of 268, 20 under par. He had previously finished in a tie for second at both the 2011 Open Championship and the 2015 U.S. Open. He has 6 World Golf Championships victories, second only to Tiger Woods' 18 wins, and was the first and only player to win each of the 4 World Golf Championship events. He has played in the LIV Golf League since 2022. Johnson was a member of the PGA Tour until June 2022, when he resigned to join LIV Golf. By virtue of his 2020 Masters win in the 2020-2021 season, Johnson became the 3rd player in PGA Tour history to win a tour title in each of his first 14 seasons, joining Jack Nicklaus 17 and Tiger Woods 14. Johnson was one of the longest drivers on the PGA Tour, having been ranked in the top 10 annually in driving distance from 2008 to 2020 and leading in 2015. On February 19, 2017, Johnson became the 20th world #1 ranked golfer and remained there for 64 consecutive weeks, the 6th longest streak at #1. He returned to the #1 position in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021 and has been at #1 for a total of 135 weeks, 4th most, and Johnson is one of only 5 men with more than 100 weeks atop the rankings. Early life and amateur career. Dustin Hunter Johnson was born on June 22, 1984, in Columbia, South Carolina, and played collegiate golf at Coastal Carolina University, where he majored in sports management. As an amateur, he won the Monroe Invitational and the Northeast Amateur in 2007, and played on the winning 2007 Walker Cup and Palmer Cup teams. Professional career, 2007-2009. Johnson turned professional in late 2007 and earned his 2008 PGA Tour card by finishing in a tie for 14th place at the 2007 qualifying school in December. Toward the end of his rookie season in October 2008, Johnson won his first PGA Tour event, the Turning Stone Resort Championship in upstate New York. 4 months later, he won his second event at the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am, which was shortened to 54 holes when the final round was canceled due to strong winds and heavy rain. Johnson won by 4 strokes over Mike Weir and by 5 strokes over second-round leader Retief Goosen, who shot a third-round 74. In the 2009 Masters Tournament, Johnson became only the 2nd person in Masters Tournament history to eagle consecutive holes. He made an eagle putt on the 13th hole and then holed out from 173 yards on the 14th hole during the final round to accomplish the feat. Johnson finished the 2009 season ranked 15th on the PGA Tour money list. 2010. In February 2010, Johnson birdied the final hole to defeat former world #1 David Duval and 2-time PGA Tour winner B. Holmes to successfully defend his AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am title. He continued his Pebble Beach success by shooting 71, 70, 66 to take a 3-shot lead over Graham McDowell at the 2010 U.S. Open. In the last pairing on Sunday, Johnson had trouble early and never recovered. He shot an 82 and finished tied for 8th. McDowell won the championship. In the final round of the 2010 PGA Championship, Johnson held a 1-shot lead entering the final hole. He appeared to have bogeyed the hole, which would have tied him for first and entered him into a 3-hole playoff with Bubba Watson and Martin Kaymer. However, he received a 2-stroke penalty for grounding his club in a bunker, thereby dropping him to a tie for 5th place. Kaymer eventually won the playoff. Johnson broke his streak of bad luck at the 3rd FedEx Cup playoff event of the season, the BMW Championship at Cog Hill in September. It was Johnson's 4th career PGA Tour victory and his first in any FedEx Cup playoff event. He finished the 2010 season ranked 4th on the PGA Tour money list. 2011. Johnson at the 2011 U.S. Open. Johnson took part in the long drive contest for charity at the Hyundai Tournament of Champions in January, alongside Bubba Watson and Robert Garrigus. In March 2011, Johnson entered the final round of the WGC Cadillac Championship with a 2-stroke lead over the rest of the field. However, he could only manage a final round 1 under par 71 to finish as runner-up behind Nick Watney. Johnson earned his then best finish in a major championship in July at the 2011 Open Championship in England. He finished in a tie for second place at Royal St. George's, alongside fellow American Phil Mickelson, 3 strokes behind champion Darren Clarke. Johnson's first 3 rounds of 70, 68, 68 left him 1 stroke behind Clarke going into Sunday's play. One highlight of Johnson's week at Royal St. George's came in the first round when he recorded a hole-in-one on the par 3 16th hole. This result marked the 3rd time that Johnson had been part of the final group on Sunday at a major championship, and also occurring in 3 out of the 4 majors, the 2010 U.S. Open, the 2010 PGA Championship, and the 2011 Open Championship. As a result of this second-place finish, Johnson moved to his highest spot in the official world golf ranking at the time, 7th, and became the 3rd-ranked American, behind Steve Stricker and Mickelson. Johnson won his 5th PGA Tour title at the Barclays in 2011, beating Matt Kuchar by 2 strokes in the first event in the FedEx Cup playoff. It was his second 54-hole tournament victory of his career after the 2009 A&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. The tournament was shortened due to the threat of Hurricane Irene. Johnson shot rounds of 6-6, 6-3, 6-5 to win at -19. It was also the second FedEx Cup playoff event win of his career. The first was the BMW Championship in 2010. The win also took him to a career high of 4th in the world rankings, the second highest American behind Steve Stricker. Johnson did not record a single top 20 in the remaining 3 FedEx Cup playoff events and finished 4th in the final standings. 2012-2013, Johnson incurred a back injury at home in March and missed over 2 months of the 2012 season, including the first major at the Masters. He returned to competition in late May at the Memorial Tournament in Ohio, made the cut, and finished tied for 19th. The following week, he won his 6th tour event, the FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis, Tennessee at TPC Southwind. He missed the cut at the U.S. Open the week after, finishing at +9, 1 stroke outside the cut mark. Johnson began his 2013 season with a win at the season-opening Hyundai Tournament of Champions, an event reserved for winners from the past season. Johnson won by 4 strokes over defending champion Steve Stricker in an event that was shortened to 54 holes due to the bad weather, mainly very strong wind that meant conditions were unplayable. The first 3 days of the tournament were wiped out, with the field having to complete 36 holes on the Monday and a final 18 on Tuesday. The event was Johnson's 7th PGA Tour win and his 3rd in a 54-hole event. In November, Johnson won the WGC HSBC Champions, part of the 2013-14 PGA Tour season. He was the first player since Tiger Woods to win at least once in each of his first 7 seasons coming out of college. 2014. On July 31st, 2014, Johnson announced he was taking the rest of the season off to seek professional help for personal challenges. On August 1st, conflicting reports surfaced regarding the circumstances of Johnson's announcement from the previous day. Golf Magazine reported that Johnson had been suspended from the PGA Tour for 6 months after testing positive for cocaine. The magazine said that this was his 3rd positive drug test after a 2009 positive for marijuana and a 2012 positive for cocaine. However, PGA Tour officials said that Johnson was taking a voluntary leave and was not under suspension. 2015. Johnson returned to the tour at the Farmers Insurance Open in February. He missed the cut by 1 stroke. In the next 2 events he played, he recorded 2 top 5 finishes, tied for 4th at the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am, and tied for 2nd at the Northern Trust Open after losing on the 3rd playoff hole to James Hahn. Johnson missed a 12-footer for birdie on the 3rd extra hole to extend the playoff. Those results led Johnson back inside the top 15 in the world ranking. After another missed cut at the Honda Classic, Johnson beat J.B. Holmes by 1 stroke to win the WGC Cadillac Championship at Trump National Doral in Miami, Florida. The win earned Johnson $1,570,000, moving him to 7th in the world rankings. At the 2015 U.S. Open, Johnson held a share of the lead heading into the final round. He had 2 birdies on the front 9, but had 3 bogeys on the back 9, but birdied 17 to get within 1 of Jordan Spieth. Johnson hit a 5-iron to the par 5 18th, 12 feet from the hole. He hit his eagle putt to within 3 feet past the hole, and then missed the 3-footer coming back to give the title to Spieth. Johnson led the 2015 Open Championship at the Old Course after 36 holes, but shot 2 rounds of 75 on the weekend to fall out of contention. Zach Johnson went on to win the event in a playoff. 2016, Johnson started off the 2016 season well, with 6 top 10 finishes in his first 10 events. After 2 finishes outside the top 10, he came close to winning the Memorial Tournament, finishing 1 shot behind eventual winner William McGirt. He recorded another top 10 finish in the FedEx St. Jude Classic a week later. Johnson won the 2016 U.S. Open to claim his first major title on June 19, 2016, in his 29th major appearance. The win was shrouded in controversy, however, as Johnson was given a 1-shot penalty after his final round had finished, due to an incident on the 5th green. As he prepared to address the ball for a par putt, his ball moved slightly. Johnson stepped away, saying that he had not addressed the ball. After he spoke to an on-site rules official, he was told to carry on with his shot, which he successfully putted. He ended up winning by 3 strokes ahead of Shane Lowry, Scott Piercy, and Jim Furyk. The moving ball incident sparked outrage among many of the world's top golfers, with players such as Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, and Webb Simpson taking to social media to criticize the USGA for its decision. Johnson moved up 3 positions in the OWGR to number 3 after this win. On July 9, 2016, Johnson confirmed that he would not be participating in the 2016 Summer Olympics because of concerns over the Zika virus. Johnson won his 3rd tournament of the year, the BMW Championship, on September 11, 2016. Johnson finished the season as the leading money winner on the PGA Tour, winning the Arnold Palmer Award, had the lowest scoring average, winning the Varden Trophy and Byron Nelson Award, and won both the PGA Player of the Year and PGA Tour Player of the Year awards. 2017, Johnson at the 2017 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, his father-in-law Wayne Gretzky can be seen in the background to the right. After starting the season with 2 top 10 finishes in his first 4 events, Johnson won the Genesis Open in February by 5 strokes over Scott Brown and Thomas Pieters. The win moved him to number 1 in the official world golf ranking. Johnson's win at the Genesis Open also cemented a place in history as he joined Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus as the only golfers in PGA Tour history to win a title in each of their first 10 seasons coming out of college. In March, Johnson won at the WGC Mexico Championship by 1 stroke over Tommy Fleetwood. The win marked the 5th time that a golfer won his first tournament after becoming number 1. This was Johnson's 4th WGC title and moved him into 2nd place on the list of most World Golf Championships titles, trailing only Tiger Woods. 3 weeks later, Johnson went undefeated at the WGC Dell Technologies Match Play event for his first WGC Match Play title and his 5th overall WGC title. The win also meant that Johnson became the first player to win all 4 of the WGC crowns: the 2013 WGC HSBC Champions, the 2015 WGC Cadillac Championship, and 2017 WGC Mexico Championship, previously the Cadillac Championship, the 2016 WGC Bridgestone Invitational, and the 2017 WGC Dell Technologies Match Play. This was his 3rd consecutive tour title through just 7 starts in 2017. Prior to the 2017 Masters Tournament, Johnson fell down a staircase in the Augusta home he was renting and suffered a back injury. He withdrew from the event. In August, Johnson won the first FedEx Cup playoff event, the Northern Trust, his 16th tour title, and his tour-leading 4th title of the season. This was the first time that he had won more than 3 tour titles in the same season. By winning, he also moved up 3 spots to number 1 on the official money list with $8,392,068 and also moved up to number 6 on the career money list. 2018. In January 2018, Johnson won the Century Tournament of Champions for the second time with an 8-stroke victory over Jon Rahm. He began the final round with a 2-stroke advantage, but pulled clear of the field with a 65 in the final round for a 24 under par winning score. Johnson fell 1 shot short of David Duval's 9-stroke win at the event in 1999. The win meant that Johnson had won a title in his first 11 straight seasons on the PGA Tour, behind only Tiger Woods, 14, and Jack Nicklaus, 17. In winning, he also became only the 3rd player in the last 30 years, alongside Woods and Phil Mickelson, to reach 17 PGA Tour wins before the age of 34. In June, Johnson won the FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis by 5 strokes, the second time he won the event. The win helped him regain the number 1 world ranking. In June 2018, Johnson opened up the U.S. Opened at Shinnecock Hills with rounds of 69-67 for a 4 under par total to hold the 36-hole lead by 4 strokes, the only player under par at the halfway stage. He then shot a 77 during a tough 3rd round, which dropped him back into a 4-way tie for lead heading into the final round. He shot even par in the final round and finished in 3rd place. In July 2018, Johnson captured his 3rd victory of the season when he won the RBC Canadian Open by 3 strokes over An Byung-hun and Kim Min-wee after starting the final round in a 4-way tie for the lead. In September 2018, Johnson qualified for the U.S. team participating in the 2018 Ryder Cup. The U.S. team lost the Ryder Cup to the European team by a score of 17.5 to 10.5 at Les Golf National outside of Paris, France. Johnson went 1-4-0 and lost his singles match to Ian Poulter, 2 up. It was alleged that Johnson and Brooks Koepka had to be separated after a disagreement on the evening of September 30, 2018, in the aftermath of the U.S. losing the Ryder Cup. 2019. In February 2019, Johnson won the inaugural Saudi International on the European Tour by 2 strokes from China's Li Haotong. After entering the final round tied with Li, Johnson shot a final round 67, which included 4 birdies on the back 9 to pull clear. The win was Johnson's 6th European Tour title, but first regular Tour event outside of the majors and WGCs. This made him the USA's 5th most successful player in European Tour history, behind Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson. Later that month, Johnson won the WGC Mexico Championship for the 3rd time, 2nd time in Mexico, and his 6th World Golf Championship overall. It was his 20th career PGA Tour win, which will earn him a lifetime exemption once he has completed 15 years of membership. In April 2019, Johnson finished tied for 2nd in the Masters tournament, 1 stroke behind Tiger Woods. The next month, Johnson finished 2nd at the PGA Championship, 2 strokes back behind Brooks Koepka. This made him the 8th person to have finished runner-up in all 4 majors. In December 2019, Johnson played on the U.S. team at the 2019 President's Cup at Royal Melbourne Golf Club in Australia. The U.S. team won 16-14. Johnson went 2-2-0, including a win in his Sunday singles match against Li Haotong. 2020, on March 2nd, Johnson's agent announced that Johnson would not be competing in the 2020 Summer Olympics due to his schedule. On June 27th, Johnson carded his career lowest round on the PGA Tour during the 3rd round of the Travelers Championship. His 9 under par round of 61 put him within 2 strokes of the lead, held by Brendan Todd, entering the final round. Johnson won the tournament with a score of 19 under par. In August, Johnson held the 54-hole lead at the 2020 PGA Championship before finishing in a tie for 2nd place, 2 strokes behind winner Colin Morikawa. 2 weeks later, Johnson won the Northern Trust at TPC Boston, Massachusetts by 11 strokes with a score of 30 under par, during which he set a new career low round with an 11 under par 60 in the 2nd round. The win at the first tournament of the 2020 FedEx Cup playoffs moved him into 1st place in the season-long point standings. He also returned to #1 in the official world golf ranking. On September 7th, Johnson won the Tour Championship at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia, and the $15 million FedEx Cup. He was subsequently voted the 2020 PGA Tour Player of the Year for the second time in his career. On November 15th, Johnson won the Masters tournament by 5 strokes with a record 20 under par total of 268, 2 strokes better than the previous record jointly held by Tiger Woods in 1997 and Jordan Spieth in 2015. It was his second major championship victory and first in the Masters. It was also his 24th official win on the PGA Tour and extended his streak of winning at least one tournament every season to 14. 2021, on February 7th, Johnson won the Saudi International for the second time. It was his 9th victory on the European Tour. In September 2021, Johnson played on the U.S. team in the 2021 Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits in Kohler, Wisconsin. The U.S. team won 19-9. Johnson went 5-0-0, including a win in his Sunday singles match against Paul Casey. Johnson also won the inaugural Nicholas Jacklin Award for the American team. It is an award given to the player whose teamwork, sportsmanship, performance, and decisions epitomize the spirit of the Ryder Cup. 2022, Johnson started 2022 with a T25 at the Farmers Insurance Open. After missing the cut at the Genesis Invitational, he tied for 9th at the Players' Championship. He finished in 4th place at the 2022 WGC Dell Technologies Match Play and T12 at the 2022 Masters Tournament. After a missed cut at the RBC Heritage and a T59 at the AT&T Byron Nelson, Johnson missed the cut at the 2022 PGA Championship. Dustin Johnson hoists the championship trophy following his victory in the LIV Golf Invitational Boston at the International Golf Club in Bolton, MA. On May 31st, it was announced that Johnson would be part of the field for the inaugural event on the LIV Golf Invitational Series from June 9 to 11, sponsored by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. After this announcement, RBC decided to end their sponsorship of Johnson. The day after the announcement of the field, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan stated that golfers would have to choose between the LIV Golf Series and the PGA Tour. Johnson announced his resignation from the PGA Tour on June 7th. The PGA Tour announced in June 2022 that all players participating in LIV Golf, including Johnson, would be ineligible to participate in tour events or the President's Cup. On the inaugural season of the LIV Golf Tour, Johnson competed for 4 Aces GC, which won the team competition in 4 consecutive tournaments: Portland, Bedminster, Boston, and Chicago. Johnson won the LIV Golf Invitational Boston on September 5, 2022, at the International Golf Club in Bolton, Massachusetts, following a 3-player playoff hole, scoring an eagle on the par 5 18th hole to defeat Anirban Lahiri and Joaquin Niemann. 2023 to present, Johnson has remained on the LIV Golf Tour and secured victories at LIV Tulsa in 2023 and LIV Las Vegas in 2024. In January 2026, Johnson signed a multi-year extension with LIV Golf. The news came within days of Brooks Koepka announcing his return to the PGA Tour from LIV Golf. At the time of the extension, Johnson had fallen to 636th in the world because he's not receiving world ranking points for his LIV Golf finishes. Personal life. In August 2013, Johnson became engaged to model, singer, and celebutante Paulina Gretzky, the daughter of Canadian ice hockey player Wayne Gretzky and Janet Jones. Johnson met Gretzky in 2009, but they did not officially start dating until early 2013. 7 months later, the pair got engaged. The couple married on April 23, 2022, at Blackberry Farm in Tennessee. They have 2 sons. Johnson appeared in the sports documentary series Full Swing, which premiered on Netflix on February 15, 2023. He has also established a non-profitable organization, Dustin Johnson Foundation, which helps youth learn, play, and contend.